You know, when I first heard about the one subject plan, I was like, wait a second, how does that work?
The one subject plan, I have to say, was one of the most counterintuitive things I had ever heard of in my life.
Coming to Fork Union and learning about the one subject plan was an intimidating moment in my life.
At first, I didn't know what to make of it. I was like, you know, that's really weird. Like, how are you going to cram all this into, what is it, 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
I was told that rather than take 4 to 7 classes a day and a typical schedule, that at Fork Union you took 1 class a day and you did that class for about 35 days. And each class day, that was the only class that you took.
I really don't understand. It's the only place that I've heard about ever doing that. Like, I don't have any friends that have ever heard of that. I tell them, they're like, what are you talking about?
I just can't see how in 7 weeks it's possible to cover a science class, earth science, chemistry, biology, physics, things that I had taught before I came to Fork Union. I thought, there's no way. It's an impossibility to cover the material. It's not going to happen.
So as I tried to wrap my mind around this concept, I thought, quickly came to the conclusion that there's no way that I can get through a full year of chemistry curriculum, and that's what I used to teach, chemistry, in one 35-day period.
And I migrated in this environment, which I just thought, you know what, I'm going to show these folks that this is not the way to do science education. I'm going to come in here with my background, understanding block schedules and the history of science education, and say, this is not the way to be able to produce things. A very interesting thing happened. I did my lesson plans for my first week, and I'm a very, very detail-oriented person. I had things written out, I had quizzes and tests created, I had homework assignments, and I had it all prepared and laid out. And I went to my first day of class, and when the bell rang, I realized I had just used everything I had prepared for that first week, and I thought, okay, I get this. I covered a week's worth of material in my first day, my first period as a high school instructor here, and every one of those students was plugged into what I was doing.
At the end of the term, first term of my teaching career here, we were about 20% farther under the one subject plan than we had been in the full year the year prior. Same textbook, same curriculum, same set of SOLs really that we were adhering to, but 20% further in the one subject plan.
Once I got into it, after I would say maybe that second and a half mark, the second and a half semester, it just opened up a whole new world for me. I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
And I had my aha moment. These folks back in 1950 really knew what they were talking about. And just like my father reminded me very frequently, I wasn't quite as smart as I thought I was. So I set about in the middle of October getting ready to teach high school chemistry again to a new class of students. I probably had 14 or 15 students, and I was really well prepared that time. And over the course of 3 years in instructing in the upper school, I taught chemistry, by my tally, the equivalent of 19 years worth. And you become a very, very good teacher when you're going over things over and over again.
It enabled me to focus on what I wanted to do. I was able to, go with Chief Patterson and practice after school and everything, because I knew where my head was at. Nothing was getting lost in the shuffle. It really kind of organized me and gave me a good structure to just kind of keep my head on track and do whatever I needed to do elsewhere, in my extracurriculars, sports, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I was really thankful for it.
It works. It works well, especially for a young man who has any propensity to distractibility, and it's hard to find a young man that doesn't. In the public school setting, there's lots of things calling for your attention, and at Fork Union, we minimize that distraction in regards to academics by offering just one subject at a time. It works well.